Okay, here we have reactive monitoring. Okay. As I already explained, the reactive monitoring dealing with the things that went wrong. So what are the possible hazards and the risk, putting the control measures before anything goes wrong is a reactive monitoring. Accident, incident, ill health, other unwanted events and situations highlights area of concern where there is the more risk involved, things that have already gone wrong, measures failure, the measures or the control measures which we adopt are not working. Before any incident, we are finding that or we are identifying them, that is known as reactive monitoring. So two methods, lesson from the specific event, the accident in the same organization. Some accident happened in organization A, which is working for constructing a 10-story building, and the organization B also using the same technique and having the same task. So they can learn from their lesson, they can collect data from there. That is also known as a lesson learned, and data collected from other organizations. So data collected and reported about accidents, dangerous occurrence, near misses, ill health cases, worker complaints, enforcement actions, assist in, and these are data collected, which is accident record, like how many accidents happened, which type of accidents happened, what is the causes, what are the near misses on the workplace, what are the dangerous occurrences. Dangerous occurrences, something happened danger, but it doesn't affect anybody. It didn't lead to a major property loss, a major injury, or even a minor injury. It's just a dangerous occurrence like a vehicle overturned, but there is no damage to vehicle. So that is a dangerous occurrence. And near miss is anything have potential to cause harm, or something which just a material fall from height, a steel, a rebar fall from height near to employee working on the ground, but he didn't hit him, he didn't touch him, no injury to the guy, no injury to the worker. That is a near miss, which can be a future accident. Every near miss on site need to be reported and recorded, because today's near miss is a tomorrow's accident. So ill health cases, people facing skin problems, eye irritation due to some material which is used at the workplace, that is known as ill health cases. So these need to be reported. Worker complaints, if they are complaining about any item, about the environment of the workplace, about the material or the tools and equipments, that need to be included, that need to be collected as data. It must be recorded in the organization's registers. And enforcement action, if any action taken by the authorities or the local legal authorities, they visit the workplace and they found some non-compliances or non-conformities, and they give a fine or they give suspension of work, or whatever the action was taken by them is known as enforcement action. These need to be recorded and reported. Okay, and moving forward, trends. Trends means what are the typical causes of the accident? Which accident is happening more on the site? Which type of first aid cases are there observed more? And pattern, hot spots of certain types injury. Like one type of injury is more people are getting the same injury, like injured, they get punctured on their hand while using the rebars. So it means that the personal protective equipment, the gloves, the safety gloves are not provided, or if provided, they are not of adequate quality, or maybe the employees are not wearing. That is a trend and pattern to which we sort, which we analyze, or which we find from the collected data. An organization has two sites carrying out similar operation. Company A has 300 workers and had 10 accidents. Company B has 150 workers and has had 5 accidents. Which has better safety performance? Anyone can answer this one?
Sir, 300.
Company A.
Company A. So you feel that the company A is having better safety?
Sir, because it has 300 workers.
Yes.
Yes, sir. My answer was also same, because there are 300 workers and the accident percentage was only 10. So it maybe was working very well.
Okay, that's right. Let's talk about accident data. Accident rate. Some guys are asking me to give the formula accident rate. So how to calculate the accident rate? Number of accidents during a specific period, then you need to write days, okay, and then average number of workers during that same period. If it happens for 126 days, so how much the average workers, then multiply it with by 1000, that is, then you can get your accident incident rate. That is a simple formula.
I think, sir, they both are same.
Yes, which one?
So I think they both are same because
Yes, why?
previous.
Because
Sir, both are same because he has 100, 150 employee or 5 accident. And after that, there is 310.
okay. So do you
That's
think,
why, sir,
okay, listen. What do you think about the accident rate? The accident rate depends on the size of the employees. So where the more size of employees means there is more control measures required. No doubt,
Yes,
both
sir.
organizations are almost similar in the accident rate, but this organization A, who is having more employees, means they are still putting more control measures to control their employees, but the control measures are not adequate enough, and they are having the accidents. Both are almost similar, but the advantage is to be given to organization A, because the organization B is having less manpower, right? Which is easy to control. Suppose you are training a student, a class of 25 students and only 5 students. In the 25 class students, you get 5 students fail, and in the class of 5 you get 1 fail. Then I believe that the class of 5 is more bad than the class of 25. In class of 25, a trainer or a teacher cannot focus on everyone, means the control measures are not adequate. But in class of 25 is not adequate. In the class of 5, a teacher can concentrate on each student individually. And if still he get the same fail ratio, it means there are some other issues also need to be tackled.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Use of statistics, data can be manipulated, like people can hide the reports, they just change the data, they don't enter the appropriate data. Incidents may go unreported. Maybe they don't report the incident because they are afraid from the management or from any other enforcement action. Sudden increase in the reporting of incidents can suggest a decrease in performance, could be due to improved reporting or and improved reporting. If the reporting is more, it can lead to less incidents. Other reactive measures, enforcement actions often required during pre-tender qualification, when a contractor is going to be selected, is going to be given a contract or a project. This selection on the tender qualification time, like what are the actions taken against them. Civil claims, total cost of claims can be calculated, like how many times they get a fine, how many times they get punishment or legal claims from the authorities, may be affected by advertising campaigns and dissatisfaction with organization. Maybe people are not agree what the organization is doing. Maybe internally they have some politics, or the workers union, trades unions can be manipulated. What is meant by active monitoring? What is meant by reactive monitoring? Give example of active and reactive monitoring. What topics could be considered in a general workplace inspection? What are the accident rate used for? Why we use the accident rate? To check out that how much the safety procedures are affected, how much implementation is there, and is that adequate enough to achieve the set target and goals. Here we have audit. Audit is very interesting and important stuff. The audit means a clear and a critical examination of a procedure of a workplace is known as audit. Audit can be two types, one internal and one external. I just go through without the slides, okay? Audit is of two types. One is internal, one is external. Internal means the employees within the organization or in the organization from other department. They are auditing the system, the procedure, the implementation, or the workplace within the organization. And external means a third party, enforcement authorities, or an other third party, a competent authority which is hired to conduct the audit, that is known as external audit. Internal audit is easy, but it can be biased because the internal employees, they can be under influence of the senior managers and they can hide some things. That is that and disadvantage of internal audit. And the advantage is the internal auditors, they know everything about the workplace, they know the workers, they know the areas of concern, they know that where the organization have lack and drawbacks. And in opposite of that, the external audit is not biased, they are not under influence, that is more time consuming, that is more systematic, they are giving exact and accurate information. But there is a demerit that sometimes things can be hidden from them. Maybe organization just hide some areas or some sectors from them to get good score in the audit. We will continue it, we will discuss it in the coming slides. Audit is a systematic, objective, and critical evaluation of an organization's health and safety management system. That is just audit. Group discussion. What is the, just a moment, please. Okay, so what is the difference between an audit and an inspection? Inspection is a random workplace inspection and can be done at any time, but audit is a systematic approach which need the presence of key peoples, key personals on the workplace, and it have a systematic procedure. It need to be done, an email or a communication need to be done that on this date we are going to audit this item, this sector, this procedure. But in inspection you can go for anything. Inspection is not specific to a specific item or area, but audit is specific to one thing, like maybe there is only COVID-19 implementation or precautions audit in the workplace. But in an inspection, when you go to workplace, you can check machinery, you can check environment, you can check tools and equipments, you can check the access road. So inspection is more wide and open, but the audit is not much open to that concept. Okay, guys, and this distinction between audit and inspection. Audit is examine documents. In inspection, we only check the workplace. Examine procedures. In inspection, we check the records. Interview the workers. In inspection, mostly there is no interview of the workers. Verify standards. In inspection, we are not verifying the standards because we are not sitting in the offices, we are doing the inspection on the workplace. And it can be long process. Yes, audit can be long process because it consists of 3-4 elements which need to be done, require a high level of competence, and may on the other hand, the inspection maybe only require basic competence, a person who is only having a little knowledge about the workplace or who have only 1 day training, he can do the inspection at the workplace. That is some differences between inspection and audit. So moving forward, pre-audit preparation. The following should be defined: time scale, when we need to do the audit, scope of the audit, what is the purpose of the audit, and which item or which procedure will be audited, the area and extent of the audit, which area, which procedure, which activity we are going to audit. As I mentioned, maybe there is an audit only for the lifting operation. Who will be required? The presence of the key personnel who have to attend the audit from the audit team. Okay, what documents will be required? Also, when they send the communication, letter, email, or any formal communication, that the audit will be conducted on day 1, 2, 3, or whatever, and these are the people and required, these are the documents are required during the audit. So, and who will be required, what documents? auditor competence, who is coming to and do the audit, carry out the audit, his competence level, time and resources for the auditors, which type of material or equipments or vehicles they want during the audit, or which type of documents they want. Okay, here paperwork, documents and records, interview managers and workers, they can interview anyone, they can inspect any paper, any document, any record they can check, they can observe the workplace, equipments, activities, behavior, each and everything on the workplace they can check during the audit. Suppose they are conducting an audit of for the lifting operation, so they can interview the rigger, they can interview the banksman, they can interview the other teams like team leader, the lifting supervisor, appointed person, lifting engineer, the crane operator. They can check the equipment record data, the daily, monthly, weekly checklist. They can check. They can check the certificates. So in typical health and safety audit, what are the documents required? Health and safety policy, risk assessments, training record, minutes of safety committee meetings, maintenance records, record of monitoring activities, accident investigation reports, emergency arrangements, inspection reports from insurance companies or other regulatory authorities, regulator visitors, worker complaints. These all are the documents which they can check during the audit. And the verbal feedback session to managers, highlights of the audit. In the audit, what they are doing, they are giving a verbal feedback because the report takes some time, maybe day after day after the audit or 2 days after the audit, they are sending a complete and comprehensive report. So for the time being, they are giving a verbal communication, and then they are giving everything written to the management, their findings, their recommendations, the priorities and the time scale, like in which time these activities need to be done. So responsibility of the audit. The organization and two parties are involved in external audit. One is the organization which is being audited, and the other is external authorities, the third party who are coming to audit the organization. So there is a enforcement agencies, insurance companies, accreditation center, OSAS 18001. These are some examples which can come as external authority to audit the organization. It is the responsibility of the management at all levels to ensure recommendations for improvement are communicated and implemented. The management is responsible that whatever the recommendations are given in the audit and the areas of improvement are described in the audit, it's the responsibility of the manager that they must communicate it with all levels. Discuss the disadvantages and advantages of external and internal audit. We already discussed this one. Here we have independent, the external is independent, they fresh pair of eyes, yeah, because these people are fresh on the workplace, they are coming from the outside, so they have more wider scope, may have wider experience at auditing, yeah, they are the professionals and they have more experience in auditing, and they can find the areas which are hidden. Experience of different type of workplace recommendations often carry out more weight. Yeah, the recommendations which is given by the third party or by the external auditors are being given more weightage, up to date with the legal requirements, and they are more able to be critical. They can create because they are not under influence. So the disadvantage is they are expensive, time consuming, may not understand the business, so make impractical suggestions because they don't care about the business, they just focus on their own concern. May intimidate workers, so get incomplete evidence. May they just take interview, but they didn't get the exact picture from the workers interview, and they can get wrong evidences from the workplace. The internal audit advantage is less expensive. Auditors are already familiar with the workplace because they are working there, can see changes since last audit. Yeah, they can identify that in the last audit these areas are required, and like the average given is 60% and now the average is 80%. So they can see the improvement. They can improves ownership of issues found, build competence internally, workplace more at ease, Yeah, they know everything about the workplace, familiarity with the workplace and individuals. They know the workers and individuals. They can take the interview of more employees, or they can take the interview of from the employees who understand the system and procedure. And the auditors may not notice certain issues because they are under influence from the senior managers. Auditors may not have good knowledge of the industry legal standard, yeah, because they are internally, they are not professional auditors, they are not familiar with the legal requirements. Auditors may not possess auditing skills, so may need training, yeah, maybe they are not adequate trained. Auditors are not independent, so maybe subject to internal influence. These are some disadvantages of internal audit. Correcting non-conformities, major non-conformities, significant issue, need urgent action. That is the non-conformance where they found that everything goes wrong. And the minor non-conformance, less serious issues, unlikely to result in which cannot bring a big blast on the site, on the workplace, which have not big action, on which the authorities cannot take very strict action. These are the minor issues and observations, and they give their own opinion and their recommendations for the area of improvement. Like these areas are going in average, but you can improve by adopting these 1, 2, 3 items. So the questions which are possibly asked and define auditing. What is audit? What are the difference between audit and workplace inspection? What type of information might be examined during an audit? We already answered these questions just now. So we have investigation accidents, reasons to carry out, and this is very important. Last time this question came in the exam. How a health and safety manager convince the experienced workers that any near miss or accident need to be reported further. These things came, this slide you can say came in the exam, but in other way the question is different, but exactly this is the topic which was asked in the scenario. So, okay, reason to carry out, why we need to carry out the investigation to identify the cause, what are the root causes of the incident, what is the direct and indirect cause, and we can prevent the recurrence of the same incident in the future. Collect evidence, we collect the evidence like who is responsible, why it happened, the legal reasons. Legally, it's required by the organization that they must investigate the accident. Insurance purpose, if the organization want to claim some amount from the insurance. Staff morale, when an accident is investigated properly, the staff will feel more good and they feel more confidence that our organization is taking care of us, and they are very serious in finding the causes of the accident so that they can avoid the recurrence. And disciplinary procedure, they can take action against the violators to upgrade the risk assessment according to the incident investigation, the findings. They can upgrade the risk assessment, they can adopt or they can bring additional control measures to avoid the accident and discover the trends, like what are the type of accidents are happening on the site, so that they can set out the trend and pattern. Type of incident, near miss, an unplanned, unwanted event that had a potential to lead to injury, damage, or loss, but did not. Anything which have potential to cause harm, but it didn't harm, it didn't got injured, but can be injured, that is known as a near miss. I already give you an example, possibly in the next slides, a picture. A pictorial example will be there. An unplanned accident is an unplanned, unwanted event which leads to injury, damage, or loss. Damage or loss means a property loss, environment loss. Yes, Ali.
इसको बाल बाल बचना कह सकते हैं.
Yes, you are right.
Okay,
You're right. You're right. So accidents, injury accident, where the unplanned, unwanted event leads to some sort of personal injury. That is injury accident, like fracture, damage to any body part, that is injury. Damage only accident, where the unplanned event, unwanted event leads to equipment or property damage, but not personal injury. That is, we can say only a property damage or damage only accident, like during the time of accident, a wall broken, a demolishing, or a property damage of an equipment burns and stop working, get broke down. That is a property damage case. So dangerous occurrence, a specified event that has to be reported to the relevant authority by statute law, like a major gas leak. A major gas leak is an environmental accident as well, and it need to be reported to the authority so that authorities can take care of that, because a gas leakage, it can lead to a fire accident at the workplace or in the surroundings. What is ill health? A disease or medical condition that is directly attributable to work. Like dermatitis means some type of allergy on the skin, dermatitis as a result of exposure to skin irritants. There is some material or gases being used and they cause ill health or dermatitis problems, skin problems to the employees. So level of investigation, more minor incidents investigated by the line manager, major incidents, more complex events or incidents with high potential investigated by a team like safety specialist who is responsible. If there is minor incident, it can be investigated by the line manager or by the line supervisor independently on the workplace, because they are not in a wider scope. But if there is major accidents, they need a team, safety specialist, senior managers, technical people who know the technical terms and the worker representatives, so that they can give exact idea, exact picture like how this accident happened. That is investigation. And whole group activity, discuss the first things you should do when arriving at the accident scene, and then the later step. Consider that type of equipment you may need to assist you. So this is a question for you guys, like when reaching on a accident scene, what you will do. I just give you an idea that in any accident or incident, on the first approach, on the reaching the accident scene, first of all, you must barricade the area so that the others cannot get hurt. And then the next is providing first aid facilities, calling the medical, calling the civil defense or whatever required as per the accident scene. So basic investigation procedure, safety of the scene. Is the area safe to approach so that unauthorized entry? People cannot remove the evidences. They cannot touch the other things. They cannot take out anything away from the accident scene. So immediate action needed to eliminate danger before casualties are approached. Casualty care, first aid treatment, their hospitalization, need to call the medical health ambulance or if required fire brigade or fire civil defense team to control the fire. And then moving further, step one, gather factual information. What factually means exact, the true information, what exactly happened. Analyze the information and draw conclusion. Analyze the information, is that information is true and enough to conduct a conclusion. Then conclude what is the reasons. Identify suitable control measures. Find that what measures need to be taken additionally to control such accidents again. Plan the remedial action, how to start the work again in the accident scene. Remedial actions, how to and do the job in normal manners, in normal way, how it was going on before. Okay, the gathering information, secure the scene, identify the witness, write the names who are the people or workers who witnessed the accidents. Collect factual information, the pictures, sketch, measurements like the size, notes, take the notes, what happened, mark up plans, samples. Samples means collect any type of data, or if there is some material damage or some glass, you can find a glass bottle which hit an employee, just take that glass bottle. Or if you find a drinking water item, just take that. If you find some food, just take that so that it can be inspected further. Interviewing the witness, examine the documents. The documents mean the training records, the permit to work, the procedures, the plans, if they are available and implemented or no. That is the examination of documents. You have to interview a witness who has just seen his friend injured at work. Suggest some golden rules which should be followed. These are some golden rules. There should be no disturbance and no distraction. It's a separate and quiet room. Establish a rapport, make good how know with him, make him comfortable, explain him the purpose. Like the purpose is to find out the cause, not to blame anyone. Use open questions like who, what, where, when, how it happened. Keep an open mind, take notes, write everything. Ask for written statement, take his written statement so that after a few days he cannot change his statement. Thanks the witness, say him thank you, that thanks for your cooperation and with the information which you have given is very helpful for us. And group discussion to practice using open question techniques, find out what the person sitting next to you did last night. Yeah, this is only an observation. Like yesterday, the one person who was sitting with you in the workplace, what he was doing. Try to use only open questions. So here we have a document examination, which is a part of audit, site plan, company health and safety policy, risk assessment, training report, safe working, previous accident, sickness record, insurance claim, enforcement actions. These are the examination. Step 2 is analyzing information. The immediate cause, what are the immediate causes? Like why it exactly happened? Unsafe act or unsafe condition. Unsafe act means the person bypassing the safety rules. Unsafe conditions mean the workplace is not safe for the working. He just used the workplace because it is unsafe and he is in pressure to finish the task. That is unsafe condition. Unsafe act means his personal behavior was not safe towards the work. And underlying causes or the root cause, reasons behind the immediate cause, often failure the management system, no supervision, no PP, no training, no maintenance of the workplace, no check and inspections, inadequate or no risk assessment available at the workplace. These are the root causes. These are the exact causes which lead to immediate causes and an accident happen. A worker is struck by a load being carried on a pallet by a forklift truck. Here, a person gets struck. Outline the possible immediate and underlying causes of the accident. If any one of you can do that, I skip from this slide. If anyone from you can do, just do it, draw it on a paper and send to me. For immediate causes, identify suitable measures, like what need to be done immediately. Clean the area if there is a oil spill, for example, there is a leakage, clean the spill, clean the area, dispose the waste properly so that it cannot create additional hazards, replace the missing guard, relocate the trailing cable. If there is a cable which is just thrown out on the ground and people just trip and fall, so reallocate. Use other means of transport the cable or lay the cable which cannot hurt the people. So for underlying root causes, it's more difficult. Yeah, need a systematic approach to handle the root causes, need to make changes in the system, in the procedures. This is more time consuming and more expensive as well. Plan the remedial action, how to start the work again in the workplace. Suppose there is a fire, I'm just giving you an example. Suppose there is a fire in an office, so everyone to be evacuated from the office, and after that the fire marshals, they enter in the room. When the fire is extinguished, they check each and everything, they check fire alarms, all tools, electric, environment, everything, and then they give the signs that this is safe to use. That is the remedial plan and remedial action. So dangerous conditions must be dealt with immediately. Any dangerous condition need to be eliminated, need to be handled, need to be fixed immediately. Interim actions may be possible. Underlying cause will be require more complex actions, will take time, effort, disruption, money, need for prioritization, need for like which item need to be done immediately. If there is a fire incident, maybe need to provide more emergency evacuation doors, or need to provide more fire extinguishers, need to provide automatic fire extinguishing system, need to provide more type of signals and thermal scanners. So here is an example recommendation action. Introduce induction training for all new FLT drivers. The priority is medium, time scale is 1 month. FLT means forklifting truck. Forklift truck, and the priority is medium, the time scale is 1 month. Who is responsible? The warehouse manager is responsible. So end of section, what are the main reasons of reporting? What are the main reasons for investigation? Who might investigate a minor injury? Line manager. Okay, who might major injury? A team. Safety representative, project managers, technical specialist. What are the 4 key steps in the incident investigation? So element 5.4, recording and reporting incidents. Guys, our time is going to end for the second slide also. So what is your idea? Shall we continue with the other session?
सर कल पे कर लें
Just a moment.